saddle up, because today we're gonna learn about how monsters are friends, not hats. Gamer Braves. This is Wan Amirul from Gamer Braves, and today we're gonna be taking a look at Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin, aka Better Pokemon. Before we get into that though, don't forget to tell us in the comments what your favorite monster is, why it's Brachydios, and then subscribe to the channel to watch me agree with you because Brachydios is the best. So, Monster Hunter Stories is a spin-off of the Monster Hunter series. Instead of violently clubbing monsters to death, you're basically engaged in a eugenics program where you steal their children and try to get the most genetically superior Aptonoff with which to smite elder dragons. You play as the descendant of Rid, the protagonist of the first Stories game. A Wyverian girl gives you an egg containing Rata, a raised-wing Rathalos. Naturally, drama ensues because Rata is connected to a prophecy about the world ending, and we can't have that, can we? The plot is pretty much your standard JRPG flair. There's a whole cast of characters for you to interact with, and you and your eugenic superstar will have to go out and collect more eggs, getting better monsters. Like I said, it's like Pokemon, but with a lot more going on under the hood. Like we mentioned earlier, Stories is the JRPG spin-off of the Monster Hunter series. The battles are turn-based and have a neat amount of depth to them. You'll be able to carry up to 3 weapons on your character, all from the mainline Monster Hunter games. Obviously, the way they play matches the game's turn-based style, but I really like how they still have their base game traits, like the Great Sword's charge bar. You'll want to pick your weapons wisely because these follow the same rules of mainline Monster Hunter. You need to pay attention to things like cutting damage or blunt damage, because these will affect different monsters differently. Aside from that, you and your monstie are basically a 2-man party, so really it's less a Pokemon game and more like the Fate game we never got, since you're very much in this fight, not just standing 5 feet away ready to force feed your Velocidromes with painkillers once things go south. You also have the game's rock paper scissors system, where all attacks are either speed, power, or technical. If you and the monster are fighting target each other, you get a hit-to-hit, where you'll square off against each other and the winning result gets the hit. Now, I know what you're thinking. This basically means that any monster has a 33% chance of kicking your ass. Not quite, because most monsters will only ever use one option, and it's up to you to learn what the counter option is. Well, most of the time anyways. If you get the monster into a rage state, they'll actually start choosing different options, so I hope you're ready to play Junkin Pond with a freaking dragon. You can also use your kinship meter like an MP bar, pulling off skills for you and your monstie. These are also bound by the rock paper scissors system, so just because your skill has the biggest number when it hits, doesn't mean it'll work on every enemy. Remember, you have to mix it up. You can also ride your monstie, becoming one of the 4 riders of Aptonoff Apocalypse, and tanking otherwise fatal blows with only 1 HP at the cost of getting knocked off. These will also unlock your kinship skill, which are laughably intense attacks for your monstie to bring out the end of days for unsuspecting wild monsters. Aside from the single player stuff, you can also engage in co-op with your friends, exploring dens together to look for monster eggs with rare genes. Unlike base Monster Hunter, this isn't really the quintessential experience, since a lot of the game was clearly meant to be enjoyed in single player. It's more of a let's kill time together type of mode, or for hunting certain monster eggs which are exclusive to these quests. If your friends are too busy getting married or whatever to help, you can take an NPC to go with you instead, so don't feel like multiplayer is any kind of necessity for the Monster Hunter Stories experience. Heck, there's even PvP like in the first game, so you can even dunk on your opponents with your genetically superior monsties. My point is, there's plenty to do in the game, even if you don't much care for the story like I did. Monster Hunter Stories 2 gets an 8 out of 10 from us. It's a really great monster collecting game with a really innovative combat system that prioritizes decision making. I especially recommend it for anyone who's in that phase of learning that they're outgrowing Pokemon, since it has all the fun of a monster collector with a more in-depth combat system. It's available now for PC and Nintendo Switch, so definitely pick it up if you're looking to sink your time with some monster eugenics. This has been Wan Amirul from Gamer Braves. Take care, guys.